Hello and welcome to Piano Online School. My name is Yulia Barshova. I'm piano and voice coach. And in today's video, we're going to talk about what's the difference between starting learning piano and voice while you being adult versus being a child. What's the difference between how easy it is to start learning new instrument, like in our case is piano, or sing as you already mature, physically grown person comparing to if you would be in a younger age. So if you think about children, they very flexible in their fine motor skills and their way to learn. They like mold or clay. It's easy to mold them in their hands, the way of understanding their skills. It's much easier because they are still developing. So that's why it's very important for piano educators when they teaching children to spend a lot of time how they developing the hand position and everything in the correct way from the get-go. For adults, you'll find that it's much harder to play certain passages or to be able to play some piece of music that requires a little bit more physicality or maybe more technical skills. And it because we as a grown people already went through the physical development, but it doesn't mean that you won't be able to do it, but you have to think about what is your goal when you're learning how to play piano. What are you trying to achieve? If you're just looking as outlet for yourself to start a new hobby or maybe learn how to play and sing so you can entertain yourself, you can entertain your friends and family, you can do it when you're gathering together on the family reunions and just to create a little bit more atmosphere and more fun for yourself and for your friends. So this is one thing. You don't have to go through this very intense practicing and development and curriculum to be able to learn how to play your favorite songs. So if you looking for opportunity to participate in piano competition or change the career and become educator, become someone who will be practicing music on a daily basis and will require some certain skills to be able to teach others. So then yes, you have to be able to spend a little bit more time and be able to develop completely different set skills for you to be able to participate in piano competitions. And once again, if you're gonna be competing amongst the younger people who's been playing piano since they were 5 years old and practicing on 2 or 3 hours every day, of course it's not a realistic goal. But if you're participating in the piano competition in adult piano beginners or adult piano players, where you're going to be among the people in a similar kind of like musical development as you are, so then you can compete. Of course, I'm speaking about the average person. Of course, some cases are extraordinary and some people have extraordinary abilities, and I don't want to not to be able to consider people who has extraordinary abilities in that case. But we're not talking about, this subject is not about extraordinary abilities. If you have them, that's great. It means that you can play anything you want with the right guidance, with the right practicing, but you have to be careful not to overplay it and not overdo it. So you have to consider that as adult, you already your muscle ability, especially the fine muscle abilities that is in our fingers, in our wrist, is not the same as you used to have when you were much younger. So another thing is when you're learning new piece of music, and maybe you could analytically and with your brain understand what you need to do, but sometimes coordination wise is not happening. It's because our brain understands it, but then it sends the signal to our muscle memory to be able to execute it. And that's where you can find it's not happening. And this is when a lot of frustrations can be created because of that. You understand that what you need to do, but you cannot physically do it. So you just have to be patient with yourself and understand that if you working on certain passage, there is going to be different strategy involved for you to do that. In a different subject, I explain how our brain works, and especially in adult piano beginners and adult students, comparing it as if you would walk in a forest, dense forest, where there is no trail. So this is what happened when you introduce the idea to your brain. Like, your brain understand that you have to go from point A to point B, but in front of you is a dense forest and you have no way to getting through. You have to make the way to get through that forest. And this is where the power of repetition started to kick in, and we're training our brain to send the signal, and on the physical level, our fingers to start doing things that we need to do. First, it has to happen in a slow pace. Second, it has to be breaking in the smaller sections. You cannot go 150 miles from point A to point B in the first try. It's an unrealistic expectation. So you have to understand that you have to break this path in the smaller sections. And if you would find the way how to go through the dense forest from point A to point B, you probably have to go slower. You have to find the way where to step your foot in order to be able to go through it. But then when you second time go, it's going to be a little bit easier. You will probably see where you were stepping before, where the branches are broken, or maybe like some rocks are shifted. So you see you've been here before. So imagine what's going to happen on the third time of you walking through the forest, or third time repeating the same passage. So this is going to be with every repetition, intentional repetition, you will find more way to track your steps and train your brains, not only send the signal, but you on physical level, you will start executing it. So the key is to do it in very slow pace. And that's where I see many piano teachers and piano students, adult piano students, and I had the same situation with my adult piano students, where they were like feeling discouraged. It's like, maybe I'm not cut out for it, or maybe I'm not talented enough, or maybe I'm not have what it takes for me to be able to play. No, it's not because you're not talented. It's not because you don't have what it takes to be able to play that piece. It's you have to understand this physical aspect, and understand it on a level that you can help yourself and find the right strategy, and not to give up. Remember that we have a short memory that has to be repeated few times in order for you to understand and do it really good. And then it has to be moved in a long-term memory. So when you already know how to play it, maybe today you've been practicing in one practice session, and you were able to execute that passage by the end of your practice session. But what's going to happen next day? You sit down and you don't know what to play. It's like you're starting from the fresh start, like you've never played this before. And I understand the frustration, because I'm experiencing the same thing when I'm practicing. And considering that I'm not already younger piano player, certain passages is already harder for me. My speed is not the same as it was before, even though like I developed it from the early age. But still, I have to understand this and be gentle with myself, and give myself a time to go over this passage in a slow pace, over and over and over. So what's going to happen once you were able to play the passage during your practice session, and the next day it feels like you have to start all over again, it's all good. It's just with every practice session, it's gonna be, the distance gonna shorten, because you starting to move file from a short-term memory to your long-term memory. And you will see that in the few practice session, you able to, from the first time, just review the section you've been practicing before, and then this is when you're ready to move into the next section. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you're learning how to play for your personal enjoyment, I created the course and I created my material that I'm teaching my adult beginners very condensed. So I'm avoiding any complicated music theory concepts. I'm avoiding any complicated passages. So I would say that it's probably in the beginner friendly, early intermediate level arrangements, where we able to just enjoy the music without doing finger acrobatic on the piano. We do not need it, even though I see the tendency is like that everyone wants to see, like, wow, on the piano, okay, show me your how fast you can play, or show me your fastest passages, or play the like Rachmaninoff or anything. Like, we in the generation that everyone wants to be impressed by, or go viral with the way your skills, how you play on the piano. No, you just have to be realistic and know where you are and where you want to get. And that's why it's important, if you work with a piano coach, or if you take an online course and you have someone guiding you along the way, you need to understand where you are and what kind of strategy it needs to be implied for you to be able to achieve where you want to be. But the key is to be patient, understand that you're not going to learn how to play piano in one day. You're not going to be able to learn piano in not even in 21 days. Like, I see more and more people making those bold marketing promises just to get people to buy their courses. But you have to be smart and realistic, and know that it involves the physical aspect, and as every physical aspect, we need to give our body time and strategy to develop it in your own pace, without comparing you with someone else, or someone who've been playing piano or their life. Even though I've been playing piano all my life, but there is a certain music and certain level of music I'm not able to play, because my physicality is not there. For example, I can play in octaves, but my hand is getting very, very tired. And if I play a lot of open passages and octaves, my I cannot sustain that. And I want to have enjoyment and fun of playing music. I don't want it to struggle, and I don't want to put myself in a situation when I'm gonna overplay my hand and it's gonna bother me later. So I wanted to be realistic with my expectation and my physical development. So that's it for today. I just wanted to recap and be able to answer this question that I've been asked all the time. What's the difference between learning in early ages and if I start to learn piano as adult, can I still be able to learn? So the short answer is yes, but you have to be realistic with your physicality and with the time that's going to be involved. And also has to be strategy placed for you to how you're going to get from point A to point B, from easiest to the hardest. So that's it for today. Please let me know where you are in your piano process, and what other topics would you like me to cover. I would love to share that, all my experience. I feel like I have a lot of insights and experience that I gained over 20 years of teaching other people of different ages, and I can answer all of your questions. Once again, thanks again. Bye. See you next time.